in history. I'll tell you what it is coming up. But first, a man is blaming Uber for ruining his marriage. So what is he doing? He's suing Uber. Will that work? A French businessman claims Uber broke up his marriage, so he's asking for $56 million. Here's his thing. He says he has this app, and there's a glitch in the app which notifies his wife when he travels, including pickup and drop-off points. And even when he logs out of the app, she still gets the notices. So his wife accused him of cheating and then ultimately filed for divorce. And he's basically saying, Uber, you ruined this for me. It's not clear as to whether or not there is any infidelity. But if you remember that great line from Dirty Rotten Scoundrels, to cheat is French. To get caught is American. I don't know if I got that right, but I think that's about what they said. That's a great movie, by the way, Dirty Rotten Scoundrels. Joining us now on the night side is Rick Patikra, a divorce lawyer. Rick, did I say your name right?
It's actually Patika. Good evening, John. Thank you for having me on your show.
There we go. You're welcome. Rick is a divorce lawyer. So if you've seen in divorces where technology and apps and social media come into play in a divorce?
Yes. Actually, we have, and it's more common now, John, that we're noticing that the influence of social media, whether it's a tool or an app, or people using Facebook or any other social media website, what they do online or in the use of the social media tool can have a haunting effect in a divorce proceeding.
So let me ask you this question. Does it carry more weight than other things in the past? So like if you're preparing your divorce case, does it carry more weight than, say, letters used to, or pictures from a private investigator? Or do people still kind of go, I don't know anything about this social media, I can't trust it as much?
No, not necessarily, John. Here at Shulman Law Firm, what we've noticed is given that the social media is very accessible to the public, there's really no reasonable expectation of privacy, so anyone can access it, and it can be used against them in a court proceeding, in a divorce proceeding. So when I came across this story online, it's not clear as to why he was using the wife's Uber app on her phone, and it's also not clear whether the Uber app on the wife's phone was being used to have the extramarital affair. So aside from the obvious question as to what he was thinking, but presuming that he had used her phone to arrange an extramarital affair meeting, he should have thought, what reasonable expectation of privacy did he expect if he was going to be using the wife's phone? I think that's just stating the obvious.
Well, let me ask you this. Rick Patika is our guest, divorce lawyer. So let's pretend he did have an affair, because it's not clear whether actually there was any infidelity. He's upset that basically his wife could follow his movements and where he was dropped off and whether he's picked up. She clearly thinks that he was cheating. So now they're divorced. He's asking for $56 million, which seems like an incredible amount of money. In a case like this, and I know you're a divorce attorney, what are the chances of someone suing someone and winning for breaking up their marriage? Is that even, that seems like a long stretch to me.
Well, it can be, and this is what's not clear because we don't have the specifics of this case. But in my experience, when I meet with clients where there's an allegation of an extramarital affair, usually there's other symptoms in place to indicate that the marriage is suffering. So really, the extramarital affair could be a consequence of the other symptoms that were in place for a long time. But although we have a no-fault divorce system in Canada, I've encountered people who come to me thinking that they have a smoking gun, and they say to me, "Look, Rick, I think my husband or wife is cheating. I looked on their cell phone. I saw that they've been accessing, for example, phone numbers to escort agencies, or I found inappropriate text messages that they have with another person." But that in and of itself doesn't mean that they're having an affair. And I think this is the difficulty with this case here, in that given that the large amount of money that he's suing for, whether he can actually prove that the Uber app was the causal link to show that he was actually having the affair.
Rick Padika is our guest. He's a divorce attorney. Let me ask you this question. So as a divorce attorney, you must see some interesting clients over the years. Has anyone ever come to you and presented a case where their spouse was cheating on them, and they presented either pictures or information that when you opened it up and looked at it, it actually blew you away? You were like, I can't even believe I'm looking at this right now.
I've had a few of those cases, but more often than not, the problem with proving an adultery or proving an extramarital affair is it's difficult to prove. And oftentimes, John, it can be a very lengthy, costly process in trying to prove it. The normal rule of thumb in Canada, or usually almost all divorces proceed on a 1-year separation. But if you're engaging in litigation and try to prove an extramarital affair, it can almost take up the 1 year, depending on how long it's in the court system for. So it's not clear if there's any advantage to it at the end of the day for divorce purposes.
So what you're saying is what we see on TV, which might seem more exciting and titillating at times, in reality, in Canada, it's more or less just, I don't want to say paperwork, but it's not as much private eyes and, go get them and set them up and that kind of deal.
That's correct. And partly due to the fact that the law is basically a no-fault divorce system. So even if someone did commit adultery, it's not going to impact any custodial rights to children or access rights to children or the level of amount of support that they're going to pay. That's dealt with separately. So irrespective of whether a person had an extramarital affair or not.
Rick Padika, divorce attorney, thank you for taking some time to join us tonight, Rick.
Thank you for having me on your show, John.
I appreciate it. There you go. So I guess this guy, there's way too many questions in this Uber story. We don't know if he's not going to get $56 million. I don't give a lot of guarantees in life, and I'm not a lawyer, but I'm pretty sure he's not getting $56 million from Uber. I'm pretty sure. If he does, I'm getting an Uber app. I'm going to get my share. $56 million seems like a crazy amount to ask. If you were going to go out with a